Hello and welcome to another episode of the CollabTalk Podcast, where we discuss the convergence of technology, business productivity, and collaboration culture. And my name is Christian Buckley. I am glad to be here talking to you today about this interesting topic. One of my goals of the podcast has been to share some of the research and thinking behind the sessions that I conduct at various conferences. So when you talk at a lot of events, you spend a lot of time building out the content that eventually gets condensed down, edited down to maybe a 45 to 60-minute session, typically about an hour, leaving a lot of content on the editing room floor. So I thought I would leverage some of that additional content and share some of my thoughts around several of my more recent presentations. I've got several that I've done. In fact, I just came back from Dallas, Texas, where I spoke on the topic of overcoming digital debt using AI. So it's a new session. Gave it my first time there in Dallas. It's called Overcoming Digital Debt and Embracing AI in the Workplace, which that was at TechCon 365 in Dallas, and a lot of fun. It's always rough doing a topic for the first time because I think one of my sessions last week, I did a workshop in 3 different sessions, so half-day workshop, uh, and each one of them, all 4 of them were the first time. I had a ton of content that I didn't get to, and so it really is shaped by the interactions, the feedback from the audience. I'll go back, and the next time I do each of those sessions, it'll be modified. It'll be cleaned up a bit. And so this is part of that process. I will generally write an article or 2 on the topic that I spoke on. So I've got lots to write about from last week. And so this helps me kind of process the messaging of each individual topic and whittle it down into, again, a more condensed, precise, concise version of that. I did also publish an article yesterday over on the Smarter Consulting blog, which I will, it's over the side there, off my screen there, but I'll include a link to that in the notes down below. It was a nice summary of the content. I was trying to condense it down to, 1,000 words. What is the message? What is the action that people need to go and take? So it's great to deliver that in that format. All right, let's jump into this important topic of digital debt. So the workplace is on the cusp of a transformative era where AI's rapid evolution promises a surge in productivity and an amplification of human talent. For IT and collaboration managers, this new dawn offers untold benefits, but also presents crucial ethical and practical dilemmas. So in my session, I go through and I talk about the ethical dilemmas behind AI, uh, helping what an organization should go and look into, what they should plan for around a deployment, what they should measure to make sure that it's being done responsibly, ethically. But we also need to figure out, how are we going to embrace this new technology? Because embracing AI in the workplace, it's not just about deploying new tools, new software. It really is about reshaping the workplace, uh, changing our working environment to leverage both our human creativity and as well as helping the people innovate more. We want to innovate more fully while conscientiously navigating the ethical landscape that these powerful tools introduce. This really, in fact, I talked about this in my session last week. It's uh, over the last few years, we got tired of this phrase of digital transformation. What does digital transformation actually mean? And it's the same thing. It's just another side of the coin for the digital debt. The mistake that organizations make with digital transformation is they think of it as just this upgrade to the software. I'm on the latest version. But no, you can have digital transformation on older technology. It's about fully leveraging the features, the capability of the technology to do more. Digital debt is kind of the same thing. Are we being held back from potential of what we can do with this technology because we're stuck on this digital debt, which I'll get through? Uh, Digital debt refers to the accumulation of outdated technology, inefficient processes, and other technological challenges that can impede progress. So, it's interesting, defining digital debt and looking at what are the sources inside my organization. There's a number of strategies that we could take, and that's what I'm going to get into here. So as business owners, as business members, as information workers, we strive to remain competitive. Understanding and addressing digital debt is a huge part of that, not only for operational efficiency, but also for long-term innovation. Coupled with this challenge in the growing opportunity presented by artificial intelligence. By strategically leveraging AI, organizations can mitigate digital debt, optimize their processes, and build a future ready workforce. So what does that actually mean? How are we defining digital debt? So it really encompasses the technical inefficiencies that bog down both individually as well as our teams, our broader organizations. So for an individual, digital debt often feels personal. So think about it as, overflowing inboxes. We have excessive notifications. I'm finding that on my phone right now because some apps don't let you go in and modify the notifications down to what others do. And then there's also that never-ending stream of meetings that can leave us feeling perpetually behind. So it creates an environment where catching up feels impossible, and that much needed time off leads to guilt rather than rejuvenation. So I know that's the way that I feel. If I'm like trying to take a week long vacation, I often am feeling guilty at about day 4, where I start to realize what I'm not doing and to catch up. As soon as I get home, so I can't enjoy my entire vacation because of this digital debt. For organizations, however, digital debt manifests in more systemic ways. So, some examples of digital debt are uh, legacy systems, so outdated technologies that are difficult to replace, yet critical to day to day operations. Over complexity, the tools and platforms that lack proper integration, forcing employees to navigate disparate systems. There's data chaos, scattered, inaccessible, or poorly managed data that hampers decision making and creates security risks. And then there's ad hoc tool adoption. This is a big topic that I've dealt with most of my career. So, the lack of a cohesive digital strategy leading to a patchwork of solutions that fail to align with the broader business goals. And so, that this is these are problems we all experience. This last one is just a big problem because we're so focused on solving the problem at hand, we don't think about where does this piece fit into everything else that I need to go and do. So, unchecked digital debt can lead to decreased productivity, security vulnerabilities, especially with all that technology floating around, and costly interventions. So, think about bringing in outside consultants to clean things up every so often. Organizations often find themselves reliant on expensive consultants to resolve integration challenges or address critical failures, costs that could be avoided with a more proactive approach, of course. So some of the sources of digital debt, since these problems don't arise overnight, these things accumulate through a combination of factors. So one is having outdated technology, and there's nothing wrong with having older technology if we're getting value out of them. But part of the process of just staying on top of technology is that we're constantly reviewing and understanding, hey, what are the cost benefits of remaining on the old technology versus the cost of moving to the new, and the benefits, the added benefit, the value that we get from the new technology. And Some organizations, they just say it's good enough, it's good enough, it's good enough, even though the value that it provides keeps going down compared to what is new out there. So these legacy systems can slow down operations. You'll see that they are incurring higher maintenance costs. Think about like uh, software platforms that reach end of life. Are you paying for additional support to extend that, or keeping on personnel that you might not otherwise need, or contractors, consultants to maintain those things, when the cost of just upgrading could not only give you new features but reduce that cost? It also can affect your processes through inefficient processes. So, manual or repetitive workflows that consume resources and lead to errors. So, if you find that you have more and more patches and scripts to go and do things because your outdated technology doesn't have that built in, that will lead to error. Those are risks that you're adding onto the business. A lack of employee training is another source of digital debt. So, employees unfamiliar with the tools at their disposal often contribute to inefficiencies and security risks. Overly complex systems. So, having that lack of integration forces employees to juggle multiple disconnected platforms. So, this also happens. We've all talked about. We know about the problem of shadow IT, rogue IT, where I'm not getting the features that I need on this older platform that we have. So I don't even tell anybody. I go use a personal credit card. I buy an online tool. I'm now getting the features that I need, but now I have, in this undisciplined model, I'm using a system that's not supported. My intellectual property, or the company's intellectual property, is sitting on this platform that's out in the cloud, that's not compliant. It's adding risk. It's spreading out that IP. If I leave the company without taking the proper steps to move that IP back to company systems, it happens a lot. And the company has no idea that they have that risk that's out there. Data mismanagement, scattered data across tools and platforms creates redundancies, complicating analysis and decision making. My background is collaboration. And so this is a massive problem, and it's a constant problem. We often refer to it as sprawl that's happening in collaboration environments. I always say that sprawl is actually a good thing because it shows that people are using the system, but you need to proactively govern those systems and that data. Otherwise, it can get chaotic very quickly. And then again, you open yourself up to risk. The absence of a strategy is another problem that causes digital debt in an organization. So, without having that long term digital roadmap, organizations risk investing in tools that fail to deliver actual value. So, addressing digital debt requires a comprehensive strategy that aligns technology investments with operational goals and fosters that employee empowerment. When employees understand what the tools are, what their roles are, what's there to be used, they'll be more efficient with their information. You also need to have a supportive organization. Like I always talk about having an organization that is good at change management. An organization that is good at change, both identifying, hey, there's a change happening. Here's what the impact of that change would be on us. If you train your organization, it becomes part of the culture of the organization to look for and to quickly adapt to those changes, then this becomes less of an issue. So part of your strategy should be to uh, uh, incorporate a good change management practice into the culture of your organization. I mean, specifically within IT and if you've got a formal PMO, a project management or product management organization structure, it's great to have change oriented people. So, what is the role of AI in tackling digital debt? AI, of course, provides powerful tools for addressing digital debt. It's as far from being a futuristic concept. It's already helping organizations streamline processes, improve accuracy, and enhance decision making. So here's some ways that AI can help transform your organization. And you're going to be familiar with most of these. Automation of mundane tasks. AI can take over repetitive tasks like data entry, scheduling, and even some customer service. For example, tools like chatbots and workflow automation platforms reduce the burden of routine tasks, freeing employees to focus on more strategic responsibilities. Insights and analytics is a huge opportunity for AI. AI excels at analyzing large data sets quickly and accurately, from customer sentiment analysis. So understanding not just how are people answering yes or no, but getting a sense of the mood of the for what the trends are, the patterns, the behaviors of the organization, to predictive maintenance. So being able to recognize seeing certain errors, and this pattern of errors leads to needing maintenance, for example. And so being able to see the patterns, see the triggers for that, AI can identify the patterns and trends that manual analysis might miss. For example, that customer sentiment analysis. Again, organizations can use AI to gauge the customer feedback from reviews or social media posts to get a sense of not just a hey, are we getting positive reviews, or what's the actual feel from our audience. And then that predictive maintenance is, forecasting equipment failures, enabling timely interventions that save both costs and downtime. AI can help enhance workplace efficiency. So, AI driven insights can optimize workflows, improve resource allocation, and even enhance collaboration. For example, Microsoft Copilot integrates AI into familiar applications like Word and Excel, and I love the AI having Copilot in PowerPoint, for example, to help with the designer capabilities, but also to where I have bullets, where I have simple information from my outline to expand that content out and help build the narrative around my presentation. So it enables things like document drafting and data analysis with minimal effort. So love these capabilities. If you've not seen some of the demos of like the future of data visualization using Excel with Copilot, it's pretty cool stuff. It's also great with customization and personalization. So AI helps tailor experiences for both customers and employees. Dynamics 365, for instance, uses AI to personalize customer interactions, forecast sales, and optimize inventory management. So there's a lot that you can do out, and there's more and more examples every day of businesses that are starting to share their stories, their scenarios and use cases of leveraging AI, no matter what the vendor is back behind. Of course, I work within the Microsoft ecosystem, but everybody's involved in AI. You can't miss the marketing these days around AI. So thinking about some real world applications of AI, there's numerous examples that demonstrate the transformative potential of AI in the workplace. So some of the things, the most common tools like Microsoft Teams, AI powered features like live transcription and intelligent meeting recaps, improve communication and collaboration. You can go in with Power Platform AI Builder, and similarly with GitHub Copilot. So non-technical users can create AI models for tasks like sentiment analysis and object detection, automating processes without having any coding experience. I love hearing those stories of people that in the no code, low code world that are building more and more complex solutions. They're getting help from, in this case, Copilot, to create the logic behind the Power Platform solutions that they're building. You also have Azure Cognitive Services, and there's a great use case that's out there where the Real Madrid use Azure's AI to enhance fan engagement. And Uber also leverages AI for sentiment analysis for customer feedback. So again, you have how people are like a scale rating your service on a 5-star or 7 to 10 star scale doesn't really give you any sentiment analysis. Like, how are people actually feeling about this? They might mark it high, but the tone of their feedback might be changing over time, and to be aware of those trends, of those changes. So these kinds of tools not only reduce manual effort, but they also empower employees to be more innovative and productive. So how can we cultivate AI fluency? Because this is really where, in reducing digital debt, it's about improving, transforming the organization, giving people the tools, the ability to go and to make change within their own workspace, their teams, their organization. And so that's really the kind of the key here to really fully realize AI's potential. Organizations must cultivate AI fluency across the workforce. And so we talk a lot about adoption and engagement of technology. It's more than just technical training. It's also about changing the culture, fostering a culture of curiosity and adaptability. So it goes back to that change, being good at change. So some of the things that you can do to help change the culture of your organization is one around education and awareness. So employees should understand AI's capabilities and applications as well as its ethical implications. So as you are piloting and slowly rolling out this technology, or rapidly rolling out this technology, you need to look at, what are the core capabilities that we're training our people on? How regular is that? Are we looking at the usage patterns, the adoption, the engagement data to see how people are actually using the technology? I'm always a fan of techniques like having like a lunch and learn, like a brown bag every Friday. Have people come in and share what they've built with this AI technology, share their best practices, their favorite prompts, like whatever that is. It's good to make that part of, again, part of the culture of the organization to constantly learn and share what you've learned, and that changes the culture. You can also have tailored training programs. So, customized curriculums ensure employees acquire the skills that are relevant to their roles. For example, marketing teams might learn to use AI for customer segmentation, while HR teams focus more on AI driven talent analytics. So, there are more and more solutions popping up in every role and category. And so there's a lot of research that you can do out there. There's more and more, best practices that are being developed across various industries. And so leveraging, all that great content and experience that's happening out in the community. And because community is a great place to go and not have to pay a consultant to teach you to do these things, you can learn from the learning of others. And then the third is continuous learning. So as AI technologies evolve, of course, employees must stay current. That's part of ongoing development programs. Sending people out to conferences is a great way to stay on top of those things. Online education, some of of course, there's third party trainers that are out there with fantastic content. There's LinkedIn Learning, there's Coursera, uh, uh, there's a number of programs out there for on-demand learning, and organizations can support this through platforms like Microsoft Viva Learning. So you can actually go and develop, I guess insights as well would track their success of what they've learned. But learning, you can actually set up, learning paths for this technology and track people, require them to go through a certain amount of training, but track their interest in other topics. So it is important with all this to also navigate the ethical and practical dilemmas, because AI adoption is not without challenges. Organizations need to address the ethical concerns to maintain both trust in the technology and also avoid some of the pitfalls, the risks out there. So, data privacy, number one, have transparent data practices, and robust encryption. They're essential to protecting your sensitive information. And it's funny with the rollout of AI as an IT, as a content governance person. That's my subject matter expertise, what I've been doing for 20 plus years. Uh, how much people are kind of, what do we need to do to prepare to roll out AI? And it goes back to the same fundamentals that you do with the rest of your content. It goes back to, the how are you cleaning up and managing your content? So the data lifecycle, your information architecture, your classification and labeling of your content. So the sensitivity labels around your content, and then automating that as much as possible, but having clearly defined processes for how you manage that data so that people aren't guessing, and you don't have that problem that seems to happen whenever you do a major upgrade to search, where suddenly people are seeing content that they shouldn't. So what's happening is the latest technology and AI are uncovering your security through obscurity. So you had, when search wasn't working well, people weren't finding the data that they shouldn't have been seeing. But now that search is working well and AI is finding this relevant content, it's finding that your permission structure, for example, is broken. So data privacy should be the number one focus, cleaning that up before you're deploying AI broadly across the organization. You should look at things like be worried about bias mitigation. So carefully selecting your training data and having diverse development teams can help reduce some of that AI bias. Just something that you should be aware of. Job displacement, I think it's one of those things where our jobs just flat out going away because of AI. It's like I don't look at it that way. It's like jobs are evolving and changing, and there's more opportunity that's coming with AI. But you should support reskilling and upskilling programs to ensure that employees can transition into these new roles as automation changes a lot of those job requirements. So good to stay ahead of those things. It's often referred to as that human-centric approach to AI. It really is critical. Think about people and how they're actually leveraging that, prioritizing, of course, the ethics, being transparent on the technology and where you are as an organization, what people need to have as a baseline of education on the new technology, and then help people incorporate that new technology into their roles. And that then looks out for both the well-being of the employees as well as the customers. So, how can you future proof your workplace and to remain competitive out there with AI growing so rapidly? So, organizations need to not only address the current challenges but also prepare for future opportunities. And this is one of those things it's hard to do because even the interface to a lot of the AI tools that we've been playing with for the last couple of years, they're going to be changing dramatically. The space is growing rapidly, and so it's something you need to, no matter what kind of business that you're in, have some degree of R&D with this technology, constantly be piloting the new tools and seeing, does this something that it's a better fit for our organization? Are we aware of all the new capabilities? So I would say three things to future proof your workplace: foster innovation, build strategic partnerships, and then leverage the knowledge platforms. And so fostering innovation. So this is about encouraging employees to experiment with AI tools and share their successes. This goes back to what I always say is building a the culture where people feel free to go and try new tools and experiment within their roles, to recognize and reward them and not penalize them for failures of those trials, but build an organization where people are without fear to go and try something new, a way of improving, but constantly look at how can we optimize, how can we do more, how can we do better, leveraging this technology. So fostering innovation, building strategic partnerships. So you should collaborate with academic institutions, research centers, and industry peers to stay at the forefront of AI advancements. Now you can do a lot of this just through community. So within the Microsoft ecosystem, there are thousands of MVPs around the world. Pretty much all of us. I'm a 13-time MVP. That we have. If we're not solely focused on AI, we're all looking at experimenting with the learning about the new AI capabilities. And so you can learn a lot from what we're writing, we're speaking on, from the video content. There's just tons that are out there, as well as out in places like the Microsoft tech community, people asking questions and Microsoft people in the community coming together to answer those questions. So have an active presence, encourage your people to be out there researching, reading what's happening out in the space, sharing what you've learned with the organization, because that will speed up the overall learning process for your organization if people are sharing. And again, if you're recognizing people, rewarding people for sharing what they're learning, people are going to be more motivated to do that. They'll be more open to learning and sharing what they know. And then third, leveraging knowledge platforms. So use tools like Microsoft Teams, Viva, and as far as structurally, how it depends on how you're working, of course, to go and share and promote knowledge sharing and keep the workforce informed. I'm also a big I'm a fan of Viva Engage. It's a great way, that formerly known as Yammer. So the social collaboration is a great way where people could go in there and share their AI learning, create a community around AI learning, and where people can share tools that they've come across and how they were able to leverage that, do more in their jobs, how it applies to your business goals. To talk about that openly, let people respond and have some back and forth around those things. Everybody learns more, they learn more quickly. But so make that part of your strategy to have a place, have a home for the sharing of that information. And so overall, by embedding innovation and adaptability into your company culture, your organization can thrive in this rapidly changing technology landscape. And I would say that it's also speeding up. The rate at which change is happening is getting faster. So you need to have that strategy. And so to wrap up here, overcoming digital debt. So looking at what's holding us back from really transforming our business and embracing AI as part of that. It's essential that we have a strategy, and embracing AI. It's no longer optional. It is a strategic imperative. So by addressing our inefficiencies and leveraging AI's transformative potential, organizations can improve their productivity, foster innovation, and build a workplace that's prepared for the challenges and opportunities of the future. You have to embrace AI if you want to keep up with the change that's coming. So as you consider your own organization's journey, just remember the goal isn't perfection, but progress. It's an iterative process. You're not going to be perfect on day one. You want to learn. You want to learn from the mistakes that you made. Not penalize people for making those mistakes, but learn together. Reward people, recognize people for trying, and then every step forward, you'll reduce that digital debt a little bit more. You'll integrate more of the AI tools and capabilities into the way that you do business, and you'll be a more agile and more resilient workplace. So embrace AI, embrace change, and remember everything is a cultural issue. Change the culture of your organization to focus on change and on AI. And I mean, the companies that are good at change and the companies that embrace AI are the ones that are going to have a distinct a competitive advantage over the rest of their industry. So that's what I want to share in this one. That's a shortened version of what I go through in my long session. And so I hope to do more of these single topics with just me going through some of the things that I talk about at these conferences. If you'd like to learn more about this topic, if you'd like help and with your organization to develop the change management process to get more of your strategy put together, please reach out. I also consult on this topic, and I'd love to talk to you. I do free consultations. So if you have interest, ping me and I'll send you over a link to schedule some time. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. You've been listening to the CollabTalk Podcast. New episodes are published weekly, and you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and most other podcast platforms. Thanks for listening.